And Greg Mills joins us now. Greg, wildfires have plagued this region for days now. We've been talking to you almost every afternoon. Can you give us a sense of where we are right now?
Sure. There actually is some good news. I really temper it. I mean, because it's so minimal. But the good news is that on the major fires, 22 fires burning in this area, and on the big ones, the biggest ones, there is some containment, meaning they've stopped it at some point. But it's like 1% containment on one, 2% on another, 3% on another. Some of the smaller fires, though, Rena, are contained at like a rate of 90%. That means they've pretty much gotten it stopped completely. So that's good. So the smaller fires, they're winning the battle. Larger fires starting to make a little bit of progress, but it's that wind we've talked about that has kept them so frustrated, because now this is day 4 and they really haven't made the progress that normally you would see in a fire, just because the wind has been so erratic and so strong almost every day, and we're expecting it to kick up here today.
And the death toll has been so unusually high for these fires. Do people feel that they had enough warning?
Actually, no. People that we've talked to in this area, and this is Santa Rosa, and the area that was hardest hit, we can pan over and show you the various views. You've seen it before. We showed you yesterday. And it's worth seeing once again. But people in this area said we didn't get warning or not adequate warning. And California is acknowledging that, and they're going to look into their alert system, the emergency alert system, because of these complaints saying that we just didn't get adequate warning. Now, keep in mind, too, quite often in California, you'll find out we're going to get a red flag warning for Monday and Tuesday, meaning high winds, strong winds, and very hot temperatures, that type of thing. So you get that kind of weather warning, but so people might have known what was coming, but not to this extent, and didn't expect 50, 60-mile-an-hour winds and a fire starting. And we don't know why the fire started Sunday night, but it did with a vengeance and just tore through this area. So for some reason, many people feel they didn't get adequate warning, and California, thank goodness, is looking into that.
That's great to hear. That's really good news. But we know that evacuations are still underway. How seriously are officials taking this precaution, getting these residents who are still in these fire zones out and out of the area?
A couple things I'm going to address there. First, Rena, very serious. In fact, almost 20,000 people are still not allowed to be in their home areas. There's a town 16 miles from here in Santa Rosa called Calistoga. 5,000 people live there, and right now all 5,000 are gone. So you could just drive down there, throw a rock down the middle of the street, whatever you want to do, although you wouldn't be allowed in there. But anyhow, it's like a ghost town is what one person saw at Calistoga today. The other thing is, police go and knock on the door and say you got to leave. That's the mandatory evacuation. But a Hayward police officer was telling us that he was told earlier this morning that looters are posing as police officers in areas that really don't have to be evacuated. They're telling people to leave, and then they go in and steal this stuff. So he didn't know how many incidents there have been, but he said that his department was aware of it happening. That's
just horrible to hear. Well, Greg, thank you. I'm glad authorities are aware of that. Greg Mills in Santa Rosa, California. Thank you, Greg.
Yeah, thanks.